See, for me, there were these mock interviews, all right, on YouTube, that you understand that, these are the question pattern that it's going to be for the first half of the interview, which is half an hour, all right. So that is pretty predictable, all right. They would ask you your strengths, your weaknesses. Now, that does not have to be a very simple question. You can't say that my strengths are, I can speak well, or, I am really kind, or I am a really hard worker, I'm a leader. You can't say things like that, because if you say you're a leader, you have to prove it to them. How are you a leader? Give me an example where you showed your leadership, all right. So you should be able to come up with an example like that, you know and it should be something which is really personal to you, which happened to you on an individual level. Now, you have to prepare for the interviews, all right. Now, preparation is basically you have to jot down all the questions that can be expected. Now, when it comes to interview, for the first 20 minutes you're just asking one question. Now, this one question that I'm talking about, what majorly happens here is, they'll ask you, let's say you are the wing commander, you will ask me 20 questions in one go. You'll ask me 20 questions in one go. All these 20 questions are normal questions. Tell me your name, tell me your profession, where do you come from, how many friends do you got, how many teachers do you like, which subject did you like in your school, in your college, what are the extracurricular activities that you used to do, what are the things that you did not used to like, which is that one friend that you do not like till now, and why, the good qualities about your parents, why don't you like them, how do you spend your Sunday, and all of that. So there are like 20 questions that they ask you, and the format might change, the questions might change, but then these are the questions that you can answer to no matter what. These are pretty normal questions, right? But the trick here is, you must be answering all these questions in one go and in the same order. Now, in the same order is the problem here, because you can't remember all those 20 questions in the same order, right? So for you to be able to, grasp all that questions step by step in your brain is the difficult task, and that you can achieve by practice. Just ask one of your friends to ask you all these questions, and then try and answer at least 10 of those questions in order. All right, so they understand that we're humans. They don't want us to work like robots. They just want to understand how we are dealing with the situation or the stress, because these kind of questions, they bring a lot of stress. You get into a lot of pressure that, okay, I forgot this question, what to do about it, or you just start fumbling because 2 3 questions, they just starts gelling up in your mind in a way that you don't understand that which one to answer first. So it depends on you as to how you're handling the situation and how you're supporting yourself, and that is what they notice over there. They don't want you to answer everything in order. If you do that, that's amazing, that's really amazing. But if you're not able to do that, how you handling that or coping up with that situation, so that is what gets that is what matters there. So that is what I prepared. Right after that, since I knew that I've completed my degree in engineering, they might ask me something from my degree as well. So you might want to look into a few of the major things, or major subjects that you were taught in your engineering or any of your degree for that matter. They might ask you questions for that, because they are aware of it and they actually prepare before you come for the interview. So it's not like they're just asking you questions blankly. Before your interview, they'll take half an hour, 1 hour to prepare a question set for you. They'll know the answers of all the questions. For me, they asked me, how does a microwave work? This was a question that I knew when I was doing my engineering, but then after 2 years, the memories get vague, right? You just don't answer. So if I chose not to answer that question, I told them that I couldn't recall the exact thing, because if you try to fool them that, okay, I know the answer, and if you just are running around the bush, they understand it. They have taken so many interviews, you can't fool them. So you have to be very straightforward with what you're thinking and how you're answering your questions. And it's more about how you're coping up with questions. The interview goes on for 1 hour, not because they want to know everything about you for 1 hour, but because after 1 hour you start to lose your cool. You get really, what do we call it, you it's just a moment of pressure, right? So just being in that situation for a long time, it just makes you feel like, I just want to get out of this interview round right now. So they sort of try and understand your situation at that point, and they will test you then. So the major tests begin after 45 minutes of your interview. So that's how they do it. So you have to like actually give few mock interviews with your parents, teachers, or your friends, whosoever is ready to take a mock interview, and they just give it, just go for it. And about the questions that can be asked in the interview, there are again a lot of YouTube videos who can, help you out with that, because that is what helped me as well. Like just one more thing in the interview, learn everything about defense, learn everything about FCAT, not FCAT, but Air Force. You must know it. You must know every, because you are like literally, gonna be an officer in Air Force. If you don't know a single detail about it, you don't qualify to be an officer there. So you have to know everything about it. So just focus on that. And there are few, and every single question will be something that you can definitely answer, but you have to filter out your answer. You must know what is that you're supposed to answer. You don't have to be really honest there. You have to be right, technically right, there is what the key is. So that is what worked for me exactly.